ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਮੈਂ ਜਸਬੀਰ ਭੋਗਲ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਟੀਵੀ ਦੇ ਵਿਨਪੈਕ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦਾ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਮੈਨੀਟੋਬਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ N.D.P ਵੱਲੋਂ ਮੈਕਫਿਲਿਪਸ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਖੜੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਗ੍ਰੈਗ ਮੈਕਫਾਰਲੇਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। Welcome, Greg.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All fired up?
I'm fired up, ready to go.
All right. So the election date has been announced.
Yes.
10th of September it is.
Yes.
Okay. So not many days, eh?
Not many days. We got to hit the ground running. We got to do what we got to do to take this government down, let them know that the way they're treating the Manitobans right now is correct.
So have you been doing your homework and stuff?
I've been doing my homework. I've been knocking on doors. I've been talking to the residents. I've been being active in the community, and
that is actually an interesting aspect, right? When you do the door-to-door knocking, especially in the evening when everybody is at home, right? Not during the day when everybody's at work. So you meet them, you talk to them. A lot of people have their grievances, right? Against the ruling party, of course, right? So what all do you hear from them?
Okay, so I go door to door and I usually introduce myself and let them know who I am, and the first thing I let them know is what I've been hearing. This is what I've been hearing when I'm talking to their neighbors. Number one thing we're hearing is obviously the healthcare cuts.
Yeah.
That's relevant right across the province to what they're doing with the healthcare system and the mistakes they've made there. I also serve as trustee and vice chair of the Seminole School Board. So the next thing they're doing is they're now attacking, they've cut education. They've cut the funding to education, and being a trustee, you see.
What is the cut actually?
I think, don't quote me, but I think it was a 5% cut in the education funds, which is significant when you're dealing with millions of dollars.
Of course.
That's less that's going into the classroom.
Yeah.
And and because of that, we see cutting the program, possibly cutting to staff, and et cetera, et cetera.
And what is the reason that they give for this cut?
I don't know. My thought process on education is investing in education is the best thing you can invest in.
Of course.
Not something that you look to cut.
That's actually investing in the future, right?
It is investing in the future. It's a long-term goal, but when you invest in it, you'll see it down the line. You'll see that things will automatically, systemically get better.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and the third, and especially being in the McPhillips constituency, is the closure of the emergency room, which is the hot topic issue.
Yeah.
And
first they closed the Concordia one, and now they're closing down the Seven Oaks one as well, right?
Yes,
that's one of the busiest hospitals in the city, I would say.
It's very busy. I think it sees almost 45,000 a year on average.
Yeah.
People coming in there, so.
And that hospital is right about in your constituency, right?
Right in the constituency, right in the heart. That is when I go door to door, and everyone I talk to has a story about that hospital and their experience there, whether it be good, whether it bad. Even if their experience was bad, they don't want it to go. And they're very angry about it. And there will be a shift in North Winnipeg because of that closure.
And not only general public, I've seen a lot of grievances from the medical people as well, right? Physicians and nurses.
Yes.
And they're saying that they have to work extra shifts, extra hours. They don't have their family time anymore.
Yes, exactly. I have several of my friends, several of my colleagues, several friends of mine that work in that hospital that share their stories with me of how toxic that workplace is right now. People are going in there with fear of losing their job. They're being mandated overtime, so that takes them away from their family. Their shifts are being rotated, so that's also affecting their home life. And also there is a mental component too, because now those workers are having stress leaves, they're making mistakes, they're having accidents. Now how are they going to be providing you proper care under those circumstances? And what they're doing right now there in that hospital, it's tragic.
So what the ruling party gives as a reason for these cuts and stuff, they want to bring back the province into profits and come out of the deficit.
Yes.
So do you think this is the right approach to do? Eventually the economy needs to work, right? And they need to have funds for the infrastructure as well.
But you don't cut those sorts of frontline services when it comes to people's healthcare just to save money.
Of course.
Right? If you can't, in my experience on things is, if you want to make something better, you don't take away from it. You change should be for something better, not for worse, right? Just to save money. And that's harming all Manitobans right now. So I'm right now, as a citizen, I'm afraid to get sick. I'm afraid for something to happen because I don't know what kind of treatment I'm going to get at that hospital with the conditions that it is right now.
The long waiting periods.
Long waiting periods, etc. And just going. I mean, I can talk on this subject for quite a while.
I understand. Yeah.
I'm very passionate.
And
about
then again, an interesting step that ruling party took was cutting down the PST by 1%.
Yes.
Leading to a $325 million deficit, if I am correct,
yes,
right?
Carry on, yeah.
So there is going to be a deficit. Could be an election move just to get elected again, giving people some candies, right? Sort of a thing.
So,
but then again, $325 million deficit. But would you? The burning question will be, what's going to be the take of the next government on this issue? Would they keep this cut as it is, keep the PST at 7% instead of 8%, and then look for other avenues to generate more income, or would they bring it back to 8%?
I can't speak on that. I can't see them bringing it back to 8% right now, because that wouldn't, in my opinion, that wouldn't be the right strategy.
Because the thing is, when a ruling party does something, of course, it'll be taken as an election stunt, right? But then, if the next party, next government, just carries it forward, so is it playing on the same side or something?
I think when this, in going door to door and talking to people about this PST cut, people be like, what's 1%? It's not going to make or break me.
Yeah.
I would rather pay the 1%, but have that money go to education, which they've cut. Have that money go to the infrastructure, which is what it was intended for, or have that money go into the healthcare system and to improve it. So now what they've done is they've cut from education, they've cut from healthcare, right, and they've cut the infrastructure budget, and then say, hey.
Not giving an election candy.
Here we go.
It's just like, candy. It's not going to feed them.
It's not going to do anything. So,
yeah.
So you're basically what you've said is you'd rather have people that are sick and have a poor education system.
Yeah.
So that's really what they're saying.
So should I take it from you that you might be thinking of bringing it back to 8%?
I wouldn't. Don't not quote me on that. No, absolutely not. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said we just have to move the funds to where they're going to be beneficial to all.
Of course, at the end it'll go to people as well, right? But you are the representative. You're going to take the will upwards, right?
Yes. Pardon?
You're going to take the will upwards in the assembly.
Exactly. So I'll take the will of the community, and I'm a strong community advocate. If you want to share a little bit about myself, is when I immigrated to in this constituency.
All right.
Right.
Which year did you immigrate?
1981.
Oh wow.
I was young.
Oh, okay.
We moved here from Jamaica. We lived in a housing project, and that's where we started our life. Like so many of, especially the Indian community that come in from India, I went through it as a child.
Oh, and of course, many of us have to start from scratch. Right? But this country has given us an opportunity to grow.
Of course, to grow, and my family grew and we developed. We made Canada our home. It's our home. It's the only place I want to be. So from there, my first job was at Garden City Shopping Mall. I graduated Garden City Collegiate. I lived at one point in West St. Paul, which is in the constituency. So this is my area, and I'm very passionate about it.
This is your backyard.
This is my backyard. Not only now being trustee of the other school division and vice chair of the school board, I represent the whole constituency. The whole constituency I represent. And that's something I'm very, very passionate about. This is the reason why I'm not only am I the most qualified candidate to be the MLA, I'm the most relevant candidate that's running to be MLA, and the most passionate.
You want to say you're their own, right? So basically. Okay, now let's talk about two big crown corporations, Manitoba Public Insurance and Manitoba Liquor and Lottery. There have been talks by the ruling party that they might think of privatizing them in the future. So what's your take and what's your party's take on this?
We definitely want to keep that public. We want to keep that Manitoba. And any kind of crown corporation that's out there should be making money. That's funds that's going to go back into the revenue. That's going into the revenue stream. Now, for it to go privatization, I have a big issue with you using public funds for one person to make profit. I'm completely against that. So we'll definitely be fighting that to make sure that something like that does not happen.
Wouldn't it make the market more competitive, rather?
Right now, as it stands, our rates are the lowest.
Of course, the insurance.
Insurance-wise, is the lowest.
Yeah.
So.
But then again, as we were talking, change if you were something better, right?
Right. So I think it should stay public. It also creates jobs, good jobs for those workers that are in there that are serving our public. I don't think we should make any cuts to that.
And then again, there are wage freeze.
Oh, okay.
At the Crown Corporation, eh?
Yes. Bill 28.
So. One way they're talking about privatizing, so that might lead to a potential layoff, maybe. And then again, they've also frozen the current wages in the Crown for the Crown Corporation employees.
Yes.
So, what kind of trail are they treading on?
Well, it's, first of all, and this is a provincial deficit. So if it's a provincial deficit, it's up for you to find savings all across the board. So for them to try to just balance the budget, blame those workers, right, and cut their wages.
And we've also seen layoffs.
And layoffs, of course, and layoffs.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're balancing the budget on the back of your public sector workers, I think that's an absolute shame. That's just not just people work. That's police. That's teachers, police officers, frontline workers, healthcare. I think it's an absolute shame. You should be taking care of those people that take care of us. And that's what they're not doing right now. They're hurting those people, and they're hurting Manitobans.
Well, it's a subtle principle that people should have money in their pocket to spend and then keep the economy running. So if they don't have enough money in their pocket, then the whole other economy suffers because the local businesses suffer, right? There's not much of a spending and there's not much of a... So, yeah, you understand that.
Yeah.
So we should be taken that an N.D.P that is always considered as pro working class, right?
Yes, of course.
So they will take care of these issues, and they would not want to go the privatization route.
Oh, definitely not the privatization. No. Historically, N.D.P has been for those workers, and we are 100% against privatization. And this government obviously has a different view on that. We've seen with the privatizing the life flight right now, it's very, very controversial. That should have stayed within the public realm.
Yeah. Okay, if I just ask you in a few lines, what is the ideology of N.D.P going into these elections?
Okay, that's what I got on my notes here. Can I refer to my notes?
Sure.
So Palliser government is making choices that keep reinforcing the system is broken and making things worse for everyday people. Manitobans are frustrated by the closures of the ERs and long wait times in healthcare, worried about class sizes and whether kids are getting the educations that will prepare them for the future. Me being trustee, that's one of the things I'm very, very passionate about. Wondering why no one is thinking about jobs for tomorrow and what they will look like, whether our kids are ready for them. Like with me being a background in trades, these kids that are coming into the skilled trades, are they prepared for their real life? Are they getting those life skills to be universal?
Those on-hand experience and stuff.
Yes, and fed up with the governments that ignore issues like addictions crisis, climate change, and communities that are obviously flooding. This government's not listening, and Palliser is out of touch with Manitobans. So, this is what the N.D.P solution is. That we need innovative solutions to complex problems that we face. No one's postal code should determine their future. We need to change the political system and make it for people by investing in things that lift us up and help us to achieve our best things like quality public health care. We need to put the brakes on the cuts and the closures and shift our focus on prevention to treat people and the problem before they become a crisis. Public education gives every child their best start and prepares them for the future. A strong and fair economy, people need good jobs they can count on, work that allows them to take care of their families and give people a sense of purpose. Honest steps on climate change and addictions, investment in public infrastructure, which is the intent of the, taking care of our environment. The clock is ticking. We need to respect the beautiful province we live in and take action against climate change before it's too late. the N.D.P, Wapkanu and the N.D.P will fight for the people so that every decision government makes will improve people's lives and support their dream for their children. That's the overall, that's our vision, that's our goal.
Okay,
Right
so
now.
I'll pick a couple of things from your statement
Sure.
over here.
Sure.
One is a very important thing, substance addiction, right?
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Would you invest more money into healthcare to take care of this problem? This problem is increasing day by day, right? And the second thing, we will talk about the climate change. A lot of politicians I've seen, they are somewhat rejecting this thing, that there is any climate change happening, right? But some people, they are very seriously into it, and they want the future generations to have a better climate than we have right now, right? Okay, let's start with the substance addiction then.
I have an answer for that, and it's going to be released when the N.D.P comes in with their platform, when this election starts. All those answers are going to be released to you as part of our platform. So stay tuned.
So you have something.
There's
so
something
you
there.
Are
There's something there.
Okay.
It's going to be announced. It's coming.
On the substance addiction and climate change.
Yes, it's part of our platform, and you'll hear about it when the election starts.
Alrighty. So I'll touch on another thing now. Provincial nominee program, right? It touches all of us in the Canadian community as well. You're an immigrant as well, right?
That wasn't when I was.
And a lot of people have been taking advantage of this wonderful program, right? And coming to this land of dreams to get better opportunities than they have in their homeland, right? So, would you be like talking to maybe it's a part provincial and part federal subject, I would say. So, what's your take on this? Do you want immigration to exceed in Manitoba? Or do you exceed as it is now? Because right now there are stringent policies, there are stringent tests that people have to pass through and come over. They weren't there about 3 or 4 years ago, right? But then stricter policies were put into place, and that restricted the immigration a little bit. I won't call it restricted, but delayed, I would say. Right? What's your take on that? Would you do some changes in this program, make it more immigrant friendly, or?
I love the program. I think it was a great program. It was actually the Manitoba model that the government tried to take over, because it was really, really working in Manitoba. That's why Manitoba is so diverse, and why the Indo-Canadian community is just so vibrant in Manitoba, and I think that's great. I'll have to look at the details of some of the red tape that's in there and see where that can be where that could be adjusted, and what some of the issues are in that. From what I understand, the provincial government brought in now an increase in the application to make it harder for the people to bring their family over, for people to come.
And so increasing the requirements?
The monetary requirement, I think there's a fee. I think they increased the fee too, and then put some red tape on there to slow it down. So that's something definitely have to look at, because
for the economy to grow, we need people, right? We need man force, right?
Exactly. We need workforce. We need just diversity is our strength. Manitoba is a very diverse province, and it's because of that program like that we have those we have festivals like Folklorama. That's been going on for 50 years, and we celebrate it it's coming around the corner. Celebrate it every year about how this program it was key to bring all these different people from all over the country. We celebrate that every year, and I think that's great.
So as people say, Manitoba is cold in the weather, but warmer in the heart, right? So we are friendly one Manitoba.
Right.
So what do you think? I would just want to know from a candidate, an N.D.P candidate, who might represent us in the assembly with a proud feeling that he's representing a part of Manitoba. How is Manitoba different and better than other provinces? Of course, nothing is perfect, right? No province is perfect. They have their own shortcomings and advantages as well. So what advantages do you see as far as Manitoba is concerned?
I love Manitoba. I left for a short stint, and I came back, and I don't want to live anywhere else in the province. So I'm very connected to Manitoba, Winnipeg, and my community. Some of Manitoba's strengths, what I said before, is our diversity. It's our First Nations community. It makes us beautiful. It's our Indo-Canadian community. It's our Filipino community. We're diverse. We have such a rich culture. And I think that's what makes Manitoba beautiful. Where else do you want me to go on that? I
don't want you to go anywhere. I want you to stay in Manitoba.
I love Manitoba, and that's the reason. That's the reason why I got involved in the community.
Okay.
With what I do. I used to coach basketball in the Maples there.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole team was from India, and it was just great with the way the families just accepted me and called me coach. I learned so much, and it was just like,
of course, it's a connecting
experience,
right?
And you see pictures of the children smiling and enjoying basketball and enjoying the community, and it's fantastic.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
I would like to thank you,
yes,
Greg, for coming here in the Vision Punjab studio.
Yes.
And we wish you all the best for the future elections.
Thank you. McFarlane for McPhillips.
Yeah.
McFarlane for McPhillips.
ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਟੀਵੀ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਕਫਿਲਿਪਸ ਤੋਂ N.D.P ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਗ੍ਰੈਗ ਮੈਕਫਾਰਲਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। Welcome back, Greg, after the break.
Yes.
So we were talking about the ER, right?
Yes.
ER closures have been a very big issue that directly hits the general public,
yes,
as well as the medical fraternity.
Yes.
I hear that you've been running a movement to keep the Seven Oaks ER open.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so in April 2017 is when the government announced they're going to be closing the Concordia ER and the Seven Oaks ER. So the Concordia community got together and they created a coalition. They got signage. They had a petition going from 2017 up until they closed it. I think it was June 3rd they closed it.
And how many people have signed?
They had, I think, about 8,000 signatures in almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So then the buzz was, wait, hey, our Seven Oaks is going to be closing in September, is what it's supposed to be, September. What are we doing for Seven Oaks? So me being the community person that I am, I said, okay, let me see what I can do. So I created just a Facebook page, and I just wrote a little bit of a history on the importance of this hospital, the importance of having it in the community, the fact that this government is cutting it, leaving the north end of the Winnipeg stranded. I just posted that and just shared it with different networks, and it just took off. People just kept joining it. And what I did was just use that as to share what's going on. So the first thing I did is I decided to start a petition. So what I did is I said, create a petition, put it up on the Facebook page, and I said, everyone, print one out. If you can get 100 signatures, I'll come personally come pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that for 2 weeks, and they just started coming in. Signatures by the hundreds, by the thousands started coming in. I was extremely busy, so I reached out to some partners and I said, well, what if we can get some lawn signs made up? Say the Seven Oaks ER lawn signs.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
around that area. Yeah.
So I talked to some partners that I had, and they said, "Yeah, how many do you need?" They said, "How many do you need?" I said, "Well, let's start with 500." So right there, got the signs, posted online. Said, "If you want to pick up your some signs, you go over there and pick up those signs." So people started picking up signs. So you started seeing signs. You saw hundreds of signs down the street, down McPhillips. You saw them in Abershills. You saw them in Garden City. You saw them everywhere. So then I said, okay, well now let's mobilize the people. Let's see what I can do that. So I organized a rally.
Mm-hmm.
So I posted I made an event, and I just shared it with my partners, shared it with partners, and we saw hundreds and hundreds of people come out with rallies, come out with their signs, with their flags, We had a good lineup of speakers to really protest that we need this ER. We had testimonies from some of the community members, because I tried to stay, I wasn't a candidate then. I tried to stay in the back and just let the community take the lead on this. So all of a sudden, this nice elderly lady comes up to me and she taps me on the shoulder and says, "Greg, I have some petitions for you."
Mm-hmm.
And she hands me a book of 4,000 signatures that she personally got. So this was absolutely overwhelming. The fact that it basically goes that this community really cares for this hospital. So following the rally, we kept on doing one more push for the petitions, and we held a media event where we presented all of our signatures to the leader of the N.D.P. to go to give to the minister.
Uh-huh.
And in that time, it was 7,700 signatures we did in that amount of time. People in this community that wanted to keep that hospital open.
So quite an achievement, I would say, in such a short
span of time. We've seen that grow, and we've seen the page grow. It's got over 1,000 followers on it now, and we're still going to keep it going. I mean, they said they were going to close it in September. Then they've also announced they're going to fast track it and close it in July. So we held a media event on that too, to kind of say now they're fast tracking. We're not ready for it. They're short staffed in the office. They're still bumping staff all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
It's not a very good place to be.
Yeah.
It's like put the brakes on it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Together they can. Yeah. So
what do? They
Yeah.
double down,
Yeah.
and they close it early.
Okay, so you are, of course, you are connected with the education system
Yes.
per se,
Yes.
right? You
Yes.
are on the board of directors at Seminole School Division.
Right.
So there's like K-12 review going
Yes.
on. Tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that, because we want to touch it before we close this today's show.
Yes. Well, if you've seen historically with this government, whenever they use the word review, should be the word cut after the end of it. So they're now trying to obviously find savings. And I'll go back to what we started with earlier. If you want to make something better, you don't cut from it. So what they're trying to do is, I think what they want to do is amalgamate school divisions. There's 37. I think they want to cut. I can't remember the number they want to cut it down to. Our model, with me being trustee for Seven Oaks, is we want to keep. If you're going to amalgamate, fine, but leave us alone, because we at Seven Oaks School Division are doing everything that you've asked us to do and going above and beyond. We're an award-winning school division. We're lean with our staff. Our class sizes are still small, and we have the greenest school in Canada. We're very diverse. We have Bangor programs, and this is actually, if I can just go over this section on that, is.
And when we also talk about this higher education, there's a 5% increase every year in the fee that we've been seeing, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to do something about that?
I'll go back to what you invest in education. I mean, these students are already having a hard time making paying their tuition as is, and having that financial burden on them. For them when they're coming out of school, to now have these loans, to now the price is going up, and now they have to go into the workforce to pay those things off. We should be finding a way to give them a break and make it easier for them, not making it more difficult for them just for money, and make a profit, really.
Alrighty, and for more information, we will have to wait for N.D.P's official announcement.
Right? On the actual play-by-play plan of how we're going to do it.
Alrighty,
yes.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio, Greg. And again, many congratulations for first being nominated, and then best of luck to you.
Thank you.
May the best person win, and may the best person that does the best for the community.
And I'm that person.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.